93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
I'm Nick Sainert. Mississippi State topped Vanderbilt 13-2 in Game 2 of the CWS Finals last night to set up a Kumar Rocker versus Will Bednar matchup tonight at 6 p.m. in a winner-take-all championship game. Kyle Schwarber stayed hot, mashing a 434-foot home run on the first pitch he saw to hit his 16th dinger in the last 18 games. In addition, Shohei Ohtani hit 2 more long balls last night to build on his Major League leading total. The Atlanta Hawks have new hopes as they tied the series up at 2 games apiece last night despite Trae Young out with an injury. The Hawks won 110-88 behind 21 points from Lou Williams. Giannis left the game early due to a hyperextended knee, is getting further testing later today. Tonight, Phoenix travels to Los Angeles to try and close out the Clippers in Game 6. Tip-off from the Staples Center is slated for 8 p.m. And lastly, Serena Williams was forced to retire from Wimbledon after she slipped and fell. It's just the second time in her career she's been forced to retire from a major tournament. For our latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And here we go. You're in the recruiting hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're the 2 o'clock.
Yes, I am.
Here are your hosts, Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Brought to you by Bubbles and Blocks.
Welcome into the recruiting hour. Mike Schaefer, no Connor Happer today. As you know, he is on vacation. He watched the Royals Red Sox last night. I don't even know who won. It was a back and forth game. I am told it was a Red Sox, so he left disappointed. He did get to see a leadoff home run from Whit Merrifield, so that'll probably tie him over for another 2 months, just that alone. But with no Happer, as you know, we've had different people in each day. We had Nicole Griffith on Monday. We had Mike Sauter on Tuesday. And now we have Jeff Essink from Farrell's Gym joining us. You guys have heard him on this show before.
Yeah.
I think at least twice. I think we've had you on.
Times.
We've had you on at least 2 different times. He is in for the full hour today. Jeff informed me probably about 10 days ago that he is starting to just lap up the Kool-Aid as it relates to Nebraska football. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm hoping to bring some positivity.
Good luck
to the audience today because I've been a fan my whole life. I'm going to be 43 in July. So when I was in high school, it was the height of the 90s. Nebraska didn't lose a game my last 2 years in high school. So I was like the king, right, in Iowa. So, but I've been through the ups and downs like everybody else. And, I made a decision probably a month ago that if Nebraska goes out and loses to Illinois, I'm going to be upset about it, right? Like, yes. I'm going to be depressed like I always am for the last 40 years of my life that I can remember watching Nebraska football. So why do I want to be upset in June, right? I want to be excited. I want to be like looking forward with optimism. And I just want to be happy, because once the season starts.
So you want to use the 9 months before the season starts to be happy.
Right.
Because you know that during the season, there could be a chance that you won't be.
There could be, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I can choose if I want to be excited now.
Yeah.
But once the season starts, I texted you and said, hey, I just bought season tickets for the first time since 2009. So I decided to take the plunge there.
Where are you at?
I am in section 34, row 80.
Okay.
So I'm up high, but the reason I like that is because there's no bench in front of me.
Okay.
So I have the railing. So
nice.
I can just kick my feet out. When somebody's walking by, I don't have to scoot back or stand up, or I won't have anybody's back and or knee in their spine, those types of things. So it's a little high, but my first season tickets.
Is that North or South Stadium?
North Stadium.
North Stadium.
My first season tickets was in 06 and I was in row 97.
Okay.
So I moved down a little bit. So I'm excited. My son is 14. He's really starting to get into football now. So I thought, well, let's make some memories, good or bad. They're going to be memories.
Yeah. So I was actually going to ask you about that. So your son, Ben,
yes,
he'll be going into his sophomore year. Is that
he'll
right?
be a freshman.
Yes. So he just finished middle school.
Yes.
You guys moved back here 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
Roughly about 3 years ago.
We moved here the same year Frost came to be the coach.
Yeah. So 2018.
3 years.
The winter of 2018.
Yep.
have you has it been hard to get him interested in Nebraska? Because obviously I know you well enough to know that when it's game day, you're completely, I assume, bananas. I've never watched a game with you.
That's probably
It's something that we can do at some point if I want that experience in my life. But what has been like for the last couple years during game? Does he watch the game with you?
So he's really the last couple years he's started to get into football. When you have a son, you think, okay, we're going to be tearing it up. We're football, we're basketball. I mean, that's your illusion.
The mini me,
right? When you live vicariously through them, that's when you have your hopes for your son, especially if you have a son. And he's just really he's more of a gamer, right? He's into video games with his buddies.
Which you are too.
Yeah, but
you were.
I am, but I'm just Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
there's too many buttons.
You used to be a game. You used to play video games a lot.
Oh, I still do.
Okay.
It's just Nintendo games.
Okay.
The PlayStation, Xbox, there are too many buttons for my 43-year-old brain to comprehend.
4 buttons.
I like A, B. I can't do R2 for spin. I mean, that just gets too complicated for me. So just the last couple years, last football season in 2019, he just decided he was a Ravens fan, right?
Okay.
I'm a Bears fan and my wife Nicole's a Packers fan. So we're whatever.
Very disappointing.
You can be whatever.
Nicole's
NFL.
great except for one small detail.
Yeah.
Actually,
Packers
two.
fan.
She really likes running too much, and then that.
Yeah. You used to run.
Used to.
I have a picture of us after a 5K we did together. Remember that?
No. Well, yeah, I guess
you blocked that out of your memory.
5K.
We did.
It wasn't like a 5K event. It was just
we out for fun, right?
Yeah, no, that was a time in my life that did exist. I used to exercise, Jeff. You know this.
Hey,
we'll get into that in a little bit.
We all have our ups and downs.
Yeah.
I go through the same ups and downs that you go through and that a lot of people that work out do. And that's my job. So, even though I go work out every day, it's still all what you eat. So if I'm tearing up the runs of burgers and all that stuff, I'm going to gain a little bit of weight, even though I'm still working out every day. So yeah, Ravens fan. Yep. So the first game that we actually watched in its entirety was the playoff game between the Ravens and the Titans in 2019.
Okay.
So poor Ben is all excited for the Ravens playoff game, but I was excited because we watched the whole thing together. So it was cool. And I'm so glad that I'm raising him in Lincoln instead of in Des Moines. Because I know what I've been through the last 10 years of Nebraska being in the Big Ten and what I went through growing up in school. And that was when they were good and they were winning. So now he's with, other Nebraska fans and it's all good and we lose and it's okay because he goes to school and everybody's upset and he doesn't get made fun of like I did. Corn cobs in my locker, those types of things that happened to me back when I was in middle school and growing up in little Waukee, Iowa. So I just decided, I would take him to some games. I even more Kool-Aid that I've been drinking. I bought 2 tickets to go to Illinois.
Yeah.
So I'm driving out to Champaign and we're going to go to that game and hopefully we can smack Bielema around a little bit.
Have you been to a game there?
No, I don't really like to watch games with opposing fans. Like one of my rules is I don't want to watch a game with I will not watch a game with an Iowa fan. I cannot do it.
How many rules do you have?
Well, because when I watch a game with an opposing fan, I remember I watched when we played UCLA in 2013 in Lincoln, big lead. Oh, and I had a buddy of mine that was a member at Farrell's was a UCLA fan. His daughter went there and they came over. Oh, I was tearing it up. We had that big lead.
Peacocking a little bit.
Oh, I was just chirping. It was the greatest thing ever. And then all of a sudden, I went through the 5 stages of grief.
Oh, no.
Within 10 minutes as they started scoring. So, I don't want people to see that side of me. But if I'm watching it with Husker fans, that's different. I have a picture of me on the floor from the Wisconsin game that I was just basically passed out when we were down by about 40 that, my uncles won't let me live down. Every time that comes up on the memories, I hear about it, so that type of thing. So I'm excited to take him and my daughter's been to a bunch of games with me. And we'd make the trip over from Iowa So I'm just excited. And one thing too, like last year when there wasn't Big Ten football, like that first month of the season, I just couldn't get into it. Like I wasn't, it wasn't exciting for me. And
You were just watching random SEC games or whatever.
No, because I did. And even like when we got into the season, if it wasn't a Big Ten game or a Nebraska game, I was kind of losing interest. So now I was like, all right, there's one game that matters. It's Nebraska. And I'm going to be I live 6 miles from the stadium. So it's time for me to take advantage of that and just go and hang out with our members downtown. A lot of our members have tailgates and, that type of thing. So I missed all that last year. And I think a lot of Nebraska fans missed going downtown and just having fun, win or lose, having fun with your friends. And because it's always fun before the game. So
that's you gotta make sure you get your fun.
So you got to be happy. That's what. So I decided to be happy and optimistic about the upcoming season. And the last time I was in here, you were asking me about it. Now, what gets you excited? And I was like, oh, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Oh, we're gonna do that again.
Gets me excited.
So save that.
That was what
we're gonna do that again.
So obviously that's changed.
If you can pinpoint the player that is gonna transfer right after the season, you want to go 2 for 2. We'll see if you can pull that off. But we want to get to the opening splash, brought to you by the Pawnee Plunge in Columbus. You've got 2 kids, Jeff. Do they enjoy water parks? You guys are a big amusement park family, right?
We're an amusement park family. We're not a big water park family.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be the appropriate person to talk to about the Pawnee Plunge.
Well, I feel like the Pawnee Plunge is a good way to get, this isn't a pun, but a good way to get your feet wet.
Yeah, when I was younger. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Water slides and that.
I'm sure you went down to Oceans of Fun at some point.
Yeah, Oceans of Fun and there was a water park in Des Moines, Whitewater, and when we've gone to Cedar Point in Ohio, we've gone to their water park. So if we're there, we will do the water park thing. Yes. Yeah. Yes. But as the older I get, now I'm just hot, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what the water's for.
Absolutely.
So you got to get to the Pawnee Plunge at some point this summer. Check it out. The best water park in the state, right here in Nebraska, in Columbus, Nebraska. So check that out at some point.
Do they have a wave pool?
I
know they have the flow rider.
They have the flow rider. They have 4 water slides. I don't know if they have just a straight wave pool.
Okay.
I have to consult my literature on that.
Okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. I need that. I need to make a visit to the Pawnee Plunge, and I think I'm going to. I think the show is going to
maybe live from the live.
I think that's a thing that's going to happen this summer.
The webcams now. They can get you going down the water slide at the bottom. Wouldn't that be great?
We run a family friendly show. Nobody wants that. Nobody needs that. So we'll see about that. We'll see where the details are with that. But I saw this on Twitter, and you actually replied to it. And so I want to dive into this a little bit before we jump back into Nebraska football. I saw a tweet, responded to a tweet where basically Brandon Warney asked, if you had to play one sports video game and win to save your life, what game are you choosing? Any sports video game ever. For me, that would be NCAA football 2005, specifically that year, because I don't think I was ever better at one specific part of the game, which was you'd have a quarterback, you'd roll slightly to the right, you have a streaking wide receiver just running the go route. You hit the corresponding letter, you switch over to the wide receiver, you slightly move to the right, and then as the ball is coming down, you move to the left, time it with the triangle to jump and user catch all of the time.
You had that down.
I had it down. I don't know why or how or what, but if I was ever trailing, which was very rare when I was playing my friends with that version, and it was never as good as it was in the 2005. And for whatever reason, Michael Robinson to Derek Williams.
Well, I was going to ask, why Penn State specifically?
I just got very good with that one team. So Michael Robinson had a really strong arm. He could roll out. He was quick. So I wasn't worried about the slow quarterback getting sacked. And then Derek Williams was blazing fast as the number 2 wide receiver. This one play out of the I formation, you'd go play action because I would basically run. And then all of a sudden there's a 50-yard pass touchdown. That's what I did to everyone. And then if you were worried about the pass and you were trying to play that, then I was just running and picking up the sick, like grinding out the clock. You suck in, and then I throw over the top.
And you probably now an oath, because I same thing. I played the PlayStation, Sega Genesis college football games, and up until 2005, Nebraska no longer had a mobile quarterback on their roster, right? So before
that would have been Zach Taylor's first year.
Yeah, I mean, you can't run the option. Like I had the option, triple option mastered. You hand to the fullback.
Yeah,
I mean, just down pat. Well, then we had Zach Taylor, and he can't run the option, so you have to find other teams to use. Unfortunately, so that would be one for you.
I was never big on running the option with video games. I don't know why.
It was always the greatest thing.
It was always I was just going to run down because I think the most demoralizing thing is knowing that your opponent is just running right at you and you can't stop it. And it just like plays into the persona of how I want to play video games, which was basically like defense first, milk clock, run it on you. And then people start to panic. They throw dumb picks. They do dumb things.
Right.
They try to go for the deep ball right away. And then, if you get good at user catching, you're pretty good at picking off, with the user as well. I swear to you, I was pretty good at the NCAA football series throughout, but like 2005 was my apex. I don't know, senior year of high school, probably didn't have that great of a social life, spent too much time playing that game.
Well, that'd be why.
I was very, very good. Like if I could just, bottle that up and be like, all right, I want to play this version of that. I want to go back in time and just be able to play that game as it was. Because you do it now and you've played all the other games that have come out since. It's not the same, but I would imagine that I'd knock a little rust off and I get back to being halfway,
because they're too complicated now.
I don't know. I don't think they're too complicated
for me
now, but it's just a different version of the same. Like the plays aren't all that different, but the way that the computer reacts, the way that a human might react, the timing mechanism, it's all slightly different. But for whatever reason, the 06 NCAA, which would have been the 2005 fall, very good. And that Penn State team, which was only like a B or a B plus, they weren't like stacked. They had a ton of NFL studs on that team, though. Their whole linebacking core was basically like first round picks.
Yeah, you get you find the right couple players. And so I picked NBA Jam, not the tournament edition, but
so what's the difference?
So the original NBA Jam it had like. Had Karl Malone and John Stockton, right? So I picked the Utah Jazz. So there was some glitches in the original NBA Jam. So when you were player one, you could block any 3-point attempt and not be called for goaltending. Okay. When you were player two, you would be called for goaltending. So, if you're and Stockton would never miss a 3 from the top of the key. So if you're player one for the Jazz, that would be my go-to. One game to save my life. That would be it. Now that my favorite game is Tecmo Super Bowl.
I was gonna say, I when you responded, I was surprised because like you're the kind of guy that packs up your car and goes to like the Tecmo Super Bowl challenge in Madison.
Well, I was in Green Bay in April. Yes,
it's a terrible city.
Yeah, well, yes. So we flew there this time, but yeah. So I go there and it's just a bunch of middle-aged guys playing their game from that we're in high school, right? And we have a lot of fun, but in Tecmo Super Bowl, there's too many just random acts of the computer. They fumble. And so I was going to say, I'll take the 49ers from Tecmo Super Bowl, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It could fumble and all that kind of random, call it random number generators. Just the computer just decides when to make things happen. Where NBA Jam, I feel like I have a little bit more control.
What's the best that you finished in one of those tournaments?
So I finished second in a tournament called the Tom Zach Bowl. That's in Dubuque, Iowa. Okay. And so that's the best I finished. Now, with kids and running, I don't have time to figure out all the ins and outs. And like, there's people that are really serious. I mean, same with like Madden.
Yeah.
You watch those guys on ESPN and they're just crazy, like knowing down to the detail of what call works against what. I mean, it's just crazy. So I don't have time to figure all that out. And in Tecmo Super Bowl, it's all about, you had your A and B, right? I'm just like for the people in the camera. So when you get in that grapple, if you remember, you got to hit the button as fast as you can to break to win, right? Well, as I get older, I
You're
just
not
my
fast enough.
my thumb speed has deteriorated,
no.
and that's kind of my downfall.
You don't
too,
have Farrell's workouts for your thumb specifically?
No, I don't. I just same with like playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out. My hand-eye coordination has deteriorated over the last 25 years. So it's harder for me to get to Tyson than it was when I was in my 20s.
You losing the Glass Joe now?
No, I get to about, like Mr. Sandman.
Okay.
But it's tough. It's tough because I can't move out of the way like I used to. Just, my brain and my eyes and my thumbs is kind of deteriorating. But so, yeah.
That's good stuff.
That's our video game from our high school days.
There you go. We'll throw this out on the text line. Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. What sports video game would you play to save your life? That was a Twitter question today. We're going to make it a text line question for those of you listening. We'll get to that a little bit later. We'll have Emmett read some of those results towards the end of the show. All right. So back to Nebraska football, back to why Jeff is positive going into 2021, besides just wanting to be positive.
That's a big part of it.
Well, we're removing that part.
Okay, yes.
What do you like about this team as it sits right now, June 30th, going into this upcoming season?
Well, you have to like all of the returning defensive players, right? I mean, we have like 5 super seniors. I mean, we got a lot of grown men. I mean, half of our secondary are dads, right? They have kids. I mean, we're
safety dads.
Right. Yes. I mean, they have children. Dads. They're grown men. They're 23, 24. Deontay Williams, I don't know if he's 24 or 25, but I mean, we got some older players. 24, yeah. Okay. So we got grown men back there. I mean, it's a big difference between 18 and 19-year-old freshmen and sophomores versus 23, 24-year-old men. So you obviously have to like that. The Big Ten offenses, I mean, nothing really scares you outside of Ohio State, really.
Yeah. And even they have to replace pieces too.
Yeah. And why is it the quarterback who's never even taken a snap in the Big Ten is like one of the best quarterbacks of the Big Ten, and nobody's ever seen this guy ever throw a pass? That's kind of a story for another
Probably
day.
Because their last 2 in that exact scenario ended up being first-round picks.
Yeah. So they just assume they'll be good.
Yeah.
Yep. So obviously the defense is going to be good. And I think one thing that I really like is how the coaching staff has changed their philosophy from the short receivers. Like I have a picture of myself with JD Spielman and Jaron Woodyard and Mike Williams from 2 years ago at the Nebraska road race. And I'm as tall as they are, or almost taller than them. And I'm 5'11". So we were at the road race just 2 weeks ago. And, I was down there and Omar Manny was down there and I was just like, holy, I mean, so they're just bigger players, taller. And I think what the staff has realized is, you can have all the speed in the world, but when you go up against a 6'3", 6'4" corner from Ohio State, if you can't get by them, you're not open.
Yeah.
So I like the bigger physical receivers. Now, obviously, they haven't really done a whole lot in Nebraska. So it's all assuming they're going
projecting,
to.
Yeah.
Yes. And then building on the lines and stuff that you guys have talked about, how, it takes a little time to build, in the weight room. And it takes years to get yourself into that position to look like a Big Ten offensive line. We're not the Pac-12 and we're not the AAC, right? So when Frost first got here, it was like, oh, we got all these Speed City, right? Speed City. Welcome to Speed City. Well, if you can't get open, your speed really doesn't matter. So I like the potential for the wide receivers. And we hear about how tough the schedule is. I don't think I don't think it's that tough. Like, we're not going.
I agree.
Obviously, we got Oklahoma and Ohio State. You just assume that they will lose those games, and you can live with that. But where else are we playing a team that when we step on the field, we're losing? Like, there isn't one. We can win all those games.
I mean, the naysayers would point at Iowa, Wisconsin, Northwestern. Nebraska has yet to defeat any of those under Scott Frost.
Yes, but like with
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I do, because it's not like it's a done deal in the same way. None of those programs are in the same tier or even the tier below an Ohio State or Oklahoma.
Right.
So I agree.
And it's not like we're playing the schedule in the SEC West. Yeah. It's not like we're, Mississippi, where we got to go to Auburn, to Alabama. We're playing Georgia, Florida. I mean, those teams, it's not as daunting. I mean, yes, you see teams that like Michigan, but Michigan was terrible last year.
Right.
Like, you guys were, or I don't know if it was Jake was saying, oh, this is the worst team in the Big Ten. So are we really scared of Michigan coming to Memorial Stadium? Can they beat us? Yes. Can we beat them? Yes.
I agree.
But outside of those two games, there's no team on the schedule that you're going to look at and say, this is the done deal, we're going to lose. Now, we can lose all of them, certainly, but we can win all of them. And you just hope with a seasoned defense, a fourth-year starting quarterback that hopefully is not looking over his shoulder, when, okay, if I make a mistake, I'm out. Maybe he'd play a little bit more loose. Because I mean, he looked a lot quicker in the spring game. I know nobody could tackle him, but
right.
So you don't really know. But he just looked a little bit better than he has the last couple of years. Talking about Adrian Martinez. So those things get me excited.
Yeah.
Now, if they shoot themselves in the foot and they turn the ball over and they have a critical holding penalty, I mean, that stuff can still happen. But gosh, you just got to think that for once in 20 years, we can eliminate those mistakes.
They've done it inside the 20 years, but at least for once in the last 4.
Yeah.
So who's a player that you've yet to see play for Nebraska that you're excited about most?
Well, the receivers. I mean, Samari Toure and Omar Manning and those two guys, just because of like how much taller they are than our receivers were last year. And two, like, the running backs, I'm excited to see those. I was excited to see Thomas Fidone, but he got hurt, which is okay. I mean, they're going to survive without him. So they got a couple really good tight ends, but I mean, if you just look at their roster, and Sipple says this all the time, they have a good roster. Like, you're not going to look at them and say, oh, they're terrible. They have a lot of good pieces. And I just think the schedule's being overblown.
I don't think talent, and I've said this a million times, talent isn't why they have not won at least half their games the last couple of years. I think that the coaching has given away.
Well, absolutely.
And that's not to say that they've been a complete team, because they're not, but they're not a team that is indicative of the record that they've had the last couple of years. Maybe 2018 is the closest because of the struggles with the transition there and the defense, but certainly 2019 should have been at least a 6-win, if not better season.
And they blew.
And then last year could have been a 5 or 6 win year.
Yep.
The way the defense played, if they showed up on offense at all, or had a semblance of the ability to run the ball with their running backs, or desire to do so, might be the better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
They should have at least won 5.
So I'm excited. I mean, gosh, I really want
to. Where is your Adrian Martinez meter? Because I think that's one of the things that always fascinates me with fans, is like, you've got a lot of people have fatigue at this point, because you've had 3 years of him being the starter. It hasn't gone well. He's been both incredible at times and incredibly bad at times. Where do you kind of fall with Adrian Martinez?
Well, those 2 Alabama receivers got drafted in the top 10. Right, Waddle, and then the Heisman Trophy winner, which his name escapes me. Who won the Heisman?
Devonta Smith.
Yeah. So if Adrian Martinez is the quarterback on Alabama's roster, do you think he's going to have 15 turnovers or throw all these picks? No, because the guys are wide open.
Yeah,
they just blow right by the defensive backs, and there's nobody within 20 yards of them. And so, which is,
well, it also helps they got a guy named Najee Harris in the backfield. But yeah,
right.
I get what you're going to.
So I think, like, that first year when we had Stanley Morgan, J.D. Spielman, Divine Azigbo, he had and a couple offensive linemen that were seniors that got drafted into the NFL. He looked really good. And then, you lose those guys. So now you're trying to break in new players and that the running back that we had that fumbled against Colorado, and that was 2018. So no, that escapes me. He's now overplaced for San
Greg
Jose.
Bell.
Yeah. So you got, players leaving and new players coming in. And so it just didn't feel right. And I think too, if we go and beat Colorado in 2019, it's a different season, because I really,
in 2018, you think it's the same?
Both of them.
Yeah.
If they beat Colorado, and Martinez doesn't get hurt, they're going to beat Northern Illinois or Troy, or whoever they played in 2018. So I really feel like with this team, need momentum. And Jake talks about it all the time, how that Illinois game is so important.
Yeah.
If Nebraska goes 3-0 into Oklahoma, Frost hasn't won 3 games in a row ever.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time we won 3 straight games, I believe, was 2016.
Yep.
When we were
7-0.
Yeah. And just think, that game against Wisconsin, the kick goes wide left, in overtime, and you think, Sam Foltz, just push that ball to the left, right? That's what I thought. He's just, this is it. This is our time. Here we go. And then TJ Watt gets away with a pass interference over the middle, which he did. And we lost. And since then, you can't even come up with the record. It's so bad. But had they won that game, they're winning the Big Ten West.
Yeah, they would have won the Big Ten West.
So we're just those things are just so close. You would think that after all these years that, finally we can get those good things to happen to us.
Maybe.
So
I don't know,
hopefully
2021's a year that they're going to win the Big Ten West, but
I think
it's not that they can't. I just don't think they will.
Well, even if they don't, if they get 7-8 wins,
yeah.
If they win 9 games and Wisconsin wins the Big Ten,
9 games would be a cause for celebration around there.
It would be. Remember when it was like?
I know.
When it was like a cause for? Oh my God! I mean, you're just people on. You're just the worst time ever.
Different ways to get to those 9.
Yeah. So now maybe we'll appreciate for a while anyway.
We can't make any assumptions.
We just need to beat Iowa, please. I mean, every year my phone just blows up, text after text after text. I mean, the whole game, I get people sending me photographs. It just never ends for me. So please, if we could just beat Iowa, I will be happy.
All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, Jeff is going to walk through why Ferrell's should be part of your summer in 2021 as you look to maybe shed a little pandemic weight.
Yeah.
As you look for a new community to be a part of, which I think is no short version of why Ferrell's is as successful as it is. But we'll dive into all that more when we return here on the Recruiting Hour.
You're listening to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Ride, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Independence Day weekend. We live in the greatest country in the world and are thankful for our freedoms that are signified by this holiday and the sacrifices made to make it possible. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks down at Herrick Services, your vending specialist here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training and almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit bonsallpool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool and Spa.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Smoothbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Did you know Myers Cork and Bottle offers complete beverage catering and bartending services for everything from tailgates to weddings? Learn more at MyersWine.com or by calling the shop at 476-1518. And don't miss Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer, Thursdays at 4:30 on The Drive.
Mike Shaver here. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaving changed my life the past few years with their 10-week challenge, and now you can get your life and fitness back on track too. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with the 10-week challenge with orientation on July 10th and the workouts starting July 12th. Their teamwork, accountability, and results keep you going 45 minutes at a time. And if you can't make it to the gym, they have an at-home video component now. Sign up today for the Farrell's 10-week challenge and mention the ticket for a 50% discount at fxblincoln.com.
Back to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer, presented by Bubbles and Blocks on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Hour. Mike Schaefer, Jeff Essink sitting in for Connor Happer. He's here to talk a little about Farrell's, a little about how you can, if your New Year's resolution, which I don't know why anyone makes those, but if it was to get in shape and you got a rough start for the first 6 months of the year, Jeff is here to tell you how you can change that and what Farrell's can bring for you.
Well,
take it away.
I think one of the niches that Farrell's has is, we basically let people start with us 4 times a year. That's when we want people to start. Mm-hmm. So with the 10-week challenge, which is starting July 10th. So most of the people that start with us, they've tried other things. They just can't do it on their own. They're just not motivated like I was way back before I started at Farrell's. So you start with a group of people that have never done it before, and we have a big orientation kickoff, and you have a team and coaches, and then you kind of go through the process together. You're sore together, you're learning how to eat together, and you have other people to count on, not just yourself. I mean, I know myself included. You start different diets, or I'm going to start going to the gym, and when you go by yourself, once you stop going, it's easy to stop going. Yeah. 1 day turns to 2 turns to 3, it turns to a week, it turns to a month, it turns to a year. We've all been there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We've all been there. We get busy, and then it's like, so in that 10-week challenge, it's kind of like you're a little baby when you start, mm-hmm. right? So we're there to teach you how to walk and until you get to graduate after the 10 weeks, and then it's like you set patterns, you set habits. You've got the habit of, I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm going to work out at 5 a.m. And then as you do that, the saying of 21 days, you're creating a habit. So getting through the first 2, 3, 4 weeks and getting into your routine and feeling better, eating better. And, the most everyone that goes to Farrell's, we just want to be healthy. Yep. It's not about how much you weigh or what you look like at the beach. It's about being healthy. And the most success stories that I like to see, not just from our gym, but from Farrell's all over the country, is when people get off their cholesterol medication or their high blood pressure medication, spending all that money on medicine and, and stuff like that. Those are the cool stories to me. Or I'm able to do this with my kids, and I can throw the ball around, and I can go on hikes and stuff like that, which you couldn't do that, before. So just the energy that you're going to get, and no matter what you want to do, if you want to lose weight, we can help you lose weight. Our $1,000 winner lost 40 pounds in the 10-week challenge.
That's insane.
But our top three finalists, everybody's a little different.
Yeah.
Some people don't lose any weight, but they lose fat.
Mhm.
So we have a pretty cool body composition scale that measures, your weight, your body fat percentage, how many pounds of muscle you have, how many pounds of fat you have, your basal metabolic rate, which we do 3 of those scans for you. You get a full nutrition plan from us based off of your body composition. And we want our members to eat healthy. We don't want them to do, fad diets or quick fixes. We're so caught up in the Biggest Loser where, if I don't lose, they lost 30 pounds in a week. Well, the people on the Biggest Loser have chefs, they have massage therapists, they don't have to work, they don't have stress and kids that they're dealing with. So that's all they're doing. And they're working out 6 hours a day, so we just try to focus on not just the short-term results, but creating long-lasting changes for our members. Something that like the meal plan is just really 5 to 6 smaller meals a day, each meal of protein and a carb, something that you can do for a long period of time where you're not like, oh my gosh, I can't do this for the rest of my life. So we just teach those types of things. And we do a really good job of combining the cardio with the strength training. So the goal at Farrell's is to build muscle, burn fat, and just be healthy. And I think the team atmosphere and the teamwork and the accountability is what keeps people going. And then, you meet people like in your 10 weeks, you met a guy named Ron, right? First day you walk in, there's an older gentleman. He's probably 60 and you guys became friends during the 10 weeks. So you get used to seeing the same people every morning. So if you don't come, they know you're not there, right? So you have the accountability where your teammate's going to message you, your coach message you, I message you, say, hey, where have you been?
Like you confirm.
What's going on? And so it's just a really awesome community. If you want to change, you want to be around like-minded people, right? So that's kind of what Farrell's is. It's most of our members will say it is a community. It's not just a gym. It's a community of people that are really just want to better themselves and be healthy, and whatever they want to do. Like I said, if you want to lose weight, build muscle, burn fat, if you have, certain goals of, I want to fit into this jean size or this dress size, that's what we want to help you do. So we have members, our oldest member is 71, our youngest member is 12. So anybody can do Farrell's. I think the word extreme scares people away a little bit. But as Lance Farrell, the owner and founder, would say, the only thing extreme about Farrell's is the results. So you're going to get results if you come. It's 6 days a week, 45 minutes a day. Same with the meal plan, 6 days a week. On that 1 day a week, you get to eat whatever you want. It's your free day. You can tear up the pizza. We have pizza and ice cream every single weekend. We do. That's just our go-to thing. And our kids know, are we getting pizza today? Like, that's just what we do. So it's kind of a little reward for yourself. But it's amazing to me. Nicole and I have been owners of Farrell's for 8 years. We're going on our 9th year of being owners. We've had over 3,000 students sign up for Farrell's under us. And it just amazes me that every 10 weeks we see such incredible changes, and it's nobody's doing anything extreme. They're just focusing on their nutrition, and they're working out every day. And your body likes that. It's like, this is great. I feel better. And that just leads to a better mood, less stress and everything. Punching and kicking that bag is an amazing stress reliever. It is one of the most fun cardio things you can do, is punching and kicking the bag.
Yeah. And now that you are sort of, the restrictions are gone from, the last year had been very difficult for you guys owning a gym. You can do varied classes again a little bit. So it's not just what I always sort of enjoyed about it is that you weren't doing the same thing every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
You were getting a different instructor who had a different way of, doing things or setting different things up. Sometimes you're running around the gym. Sometimes you're just literally working the bag for 40 minutes.
Right.
Like that's just what it was with that instructor that day. I always really appreciated that variety because that kept it sort of fresh, because you never really know when you walk into the door what you're going to get. But you do know when you walk out the door, almost every single time you got a better workout than you would have gotten if you just tried to go to the gym by yourself.
Yep. And we tell people just, give us 5 minutes, walk in the door. You're going to see myself there smiling, clapping at you, encouraging you. Yeah. Singing, head banging to my 80s rock that I listen to when I teach every single class. Or Nicole will be there, we'll be there. So you're always going to see a friendly face when you walk in. And typically if you get started, you're going to feel better when you're done. And it's only 45 minutes. I mean, if we're so busy with our lives that we can't take out 45 minutes for ourselves, I don't want to be that busy. I mean, it's just 45 minutes. We have classes at as early as 4 o'clock in the morning.
I've been there.
Yeah. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. We have one at 8:30, 9:15, 12:15, 4:30, 5:30, 6. So there's 10 different times. And if you can't make it to the gym, you can do your Farrell's workout from home. So we have members in 20 different states. I just told you off air, we have a member doing this 10-week challenge that lives in Maine. So we have members all over the country, and it's really cool to see our members that go to the gym in Lincoln refer their friends and family outside of the Lincoln area. So when we were closed, for the pandemic in March, we were closed for 2.5 months, and we came up with a virtual component where we did an entire 10-week challenge, everybody that did it from home from April until June. And then now we'll have members doing it from home, members doing it from the gym. And the results that our members get from home are they're amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's even if you come into the gym, we only have you for 45 minutes. Your results are ultimately going to be what you're doing the other 23 hours and 15 minutes that you're out there on your own. So just having the accountability and knowing you're going to do a before picture, an after picture, and you're going to be, hitting the body composition week 1, week 5, week 10 is another avenue to hold you accountable. Being like, okay, I'm getting my picture taken. I want to do the best that I can over these 10 weeks. And at the end of the 10 weeks, if you come and work out and you eat right, you're going to feel amazing, and you're going to be in amazing shape, and you're just going to feel better about yourself. So that's kind of what we're all about here at Farrell's.
How can people sign up?
So you can go to our website at fxblincoln.com. There's a request more information on there. You just fill out your name, email, and phone number, and I will contact you. Or you can contact me directly right to my cell phone. It's 402-310-4026. This is Nicole. This is our life. We don't do anything else. So we live, breathe, eat Farrell's. We're there at 3:30 in the morning every single day, and we're up there for all of our night classes too. So we will help you accomplish whatever you want to accomplish health-wise. So July 10th is when it starts. We have an awesome special for the ticket listeners. You can get 50% off the 10-week challenge. So it's a couple $100 for 10 weeks. It's just a couple dollars a class, and it would be the best decision you make.
I can vouch. I did it in 2018. I lost over the course of March through the end of November, beginning of December. I lost 65 pounds in that stretch. I have never been as consistent as I was in that run. I like to joke that I found my wife during that time period.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would be in the situation of getting married in the next 10 days if it wasn't for Farrell's. So it is legitimately life-changing.
And it I think you're confident. You were just more confident, right? To get out there. And I mean, I don't know how you guys met, but you just feel better about yourself.
You do.
So you're not as self-conscious. Yep. You're just like, man, I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. I'm going to go out and find my soulmate. And that's what you did.
That's what I did.
So in 10 days, you're getting married.
Getting married.
That's right.
Thanks to Farrell's. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll finish up the show next.
You're listening to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. The DP and Stevens Show.
Everett Gray, former UNLV star.
Some of your parents are going, don't coach in the car.
Yeah.
Stop coaching in the car. They only can play for the coach, not you. You don't say, you never hear a parent, you don't, you're terrible on your rotation on that third rotation.
Right.
They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know the rotation. They don't say that. All they say is shoot more. That's the only thing they can say.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course.
Ow! God! Ow! Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Batter up!
Gather your friends and your coworkers and get ready to play ball. Lincoln Parks and Recreation's fall sports registration is open for adult softball and kickball. All games will start in August with recreational and competitive divisions offered. Softball games are played Sunday through Friday at Mahoney, Holmes, and Ballard Fields, and kickball plays on Sundays at Lewis Ball Fields. Register online at teamsideline.com/LincolnNE or call 402-441-7892. That's 441-7892.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Did you know Myers Cork and Bottle offers complete beverage catering and bartending services for everything from tailgates to weddings? Learn more at MyersWine.com or by calling the shop at 476-1518. And don't miss Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer, Thursdays at 4:30 on The Drive.
Allo Business customers get more than just fast, reliable connections. They get service and support to meet all their voice, data, and TV needs. Because supporting your business is our business. Allo delivers peace of mind with a 100% fiber network, hosted PBX solutions, redundancy protection, and best-in-class service to back it all up. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685. That's 402-480-6685.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Ride, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training and almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Back to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer, presented by Bubbles and Blocks on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Hour, one final time here on a Wednesday. A little bit of a slow day in terms of recruiting, as to be expected. A lot of coaches taking vacation at this time. The dead period is upon us. Nebraska did make an offer earlier today to Elliott Washington II, a defensive back out of Florida from Venice High School. He's a 4-star. He already has offers from Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Florida State, and pretty much the rest of the Southeast. It's going to be a little bit tough for Nebraska to crack into that one, but he's a 2023, so they got
I
time.
was gonna ask that.
Just finished his sophomore year, started this year at cornerback, is more likely a safety at the next level, 5'11" and a half, 190 pounds, and ran the 110.8 this last year in track. But that is kind of your lone Nebraska recruiting news in that regard. Landon Sampson, the wide receiver out of South Lake Carroll in Texas, has just committed to South Carolina. So he is off the board for Nebraska. Nebraska took Grant Page back in the middle of the month, and that sort of opened up the question as to would they still take Landon Sampson. I think in the right scenario, they would have. But I do wonder if they sort of read the tea leaves there and basically sort of viewed it as this is going to be a tough commitment to pull. We don't know what is going to happen with Ohio State. Here came South Carolina, and he jumped on that. And, Nebraska, I think, again, part of recruiting is knowing when you're beat and moving on. And they did that. I think Sampson would have been the 1 on the board. Grant Page was a 2. It's not like they were in a free fall there. They still got a guy that they really like out of Boulder in Colorado.
So do you think that, because, you hear, Nebraska can't get these players here. Isn't it just about winning? Like if we were winning,
well, you could make the argument if Nebraska's winning, they're probably recruiting past to Landon Sampson in the first place. So this class is going to be difficult for people to handle. It's going to be a small class. There's not going to be a lot of star-studded nature to it. It's not going to rank very highly. And Nebraska was put in a very difficult spot in terms of having to recruit a class that they never got to view anybody in person.
Mm-hmm.
You have to evaluate entirely off of film until you got to this camp setting. And again, like if they just have a 14-person class and it ranks 37th and they have a lot of eggs in the basket of 2023, I mean, that's what they're trying to do. I mean, I'm not saying that people should be thrilled that this is what is happening, but I think it's, if you can accept reality sooner, then you won't be as just completely disappointed by where it's at. But this isn't going to be the 2019 recruiting class. It's not going to be 2021.
And maybe there won't be as many defections, right? Because we get all excited about, we got all these 4-stars from Florida. Well, none of them are here anymore. So maybe if we get a lesser kid, and I don't want to say compare us to Iowa, but they get Iowa and Wisconsin don't get 5 and 4 stars. And I know we don't want to compare ourselves to Iowa, but I would take Iowa's record right now. They were 6-2 last year. And so, it's about development as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, Eric Shenander said this when I spoke with him in Columbus during the Big Red Blitz, and they feel very good about where their roster is at in terms of some of the depth that they have, and that they're a little bit more comfortable that they might be taking some more Midwest kids as opposed to trying to go and pulling kids from further away simply because they think that they can develop those guys,
right?
And that they have more lead time with it. Nebraska doesn't feel like they have to go get a bunch of plug and play guys. That's why you're not going to see them playing in the junior college a lot. If they are going to do the plug and play, they're going to save some spots in their class for the graduate transfer.
Well, and I think
or the transfer portal just in general.
With all those defensive players coming back, I really like that because now the younger players have another year of development in the program. So imagine if all those players were gone, now we'd be like, oh my gosh, we have 9 new starters on defense. We're young. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm pretty excited, not just for this year, but building that depth behind.
All right. So we've got a little less than a minute. I want some predictions from you. Just blind predictions. Will Nebraska beat Iowa in 2021?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's time. And I hope it's a 2001 Colorado Nebraska beatdown.
If Nebraska is going to beat either Oklahoma or Ohio State, which one is more likely? Why?
I would say Ohio State, just because new
less
quarterback.
returning.
Less returning.
Better chance of catching them on a bad day than maybe what appears to be one of the top 3 teams in the country.
And it's at home. We got the big home field advantage, right?
You'll be there.
I'll be there.
Jeff will be there. All right, be sure to hit him up about Farrell's. You can catch that information at FXB Lincoln, and we will be back tomorrow with another show on the recruiting.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Who's the Clemson quarterback? Ukulele. Ukulele.
DJ Uyunglele.
Yeah,
aka